Tom, it's been 5 days since you've last played an international game of cricket. Um, any thoughts on what's an ideal gap that you should have between ODIs and especially in a World Cup like this?
I guess there's no perfect scenario. I think if you look at our games throughout this tournament, we've had some shorter breaks, we've had some slightly bigger gaps. But I guess when you come to the middle of the tournament or towards the back end of the tournament, I think it's making sure guys are fresh and ready to go, and sometimes those longer breaks can come at a perfect time. So I guess that's something that's out of our control. Ideally, a few more than a couple of days, but yeah, look, we're ready to go. We've obviously had a few days here. Staying here, which has been great, and yeah, boys, we're looking forward to getting going tomorrow.
Awesome. And just the day game starting at 10:30 in the morning, does it kind of nullify the advantage of a toss because it takes dew out of the equation? And does it change your planning, strategizing in any way?
I guess a little bit. I think if we look at the other night, it probably didn't dew up as much as we potentially thought, and we've probably seen that in a couple of our games where we're expecting dew to come in, and it didn't actually hit as much as what we would have thought. So for us, it's about trying to plan as best we can and prepare as best we can, and prepare for all scenarios. If in the morning if it does a little bit, or in the evening if it does start to spin a little bit more. So for us, it's just being prepared for every situation.
Last one from me. We saw that the team visited His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, at his residence. Can you talk to us a bit about that visit and whether there were any field placings discussed with him?
No, certainly no field placements. But yeah, it was obviously a cool experience for the group to head up there and obviously meet the Dalai Lama. And I guess in this situation where we had a few days off and the opportunity being so close, it obviously came up, and it was obviously a really special time heading up there and having a look around the monastery and whatnot. So yeah, I think everyone that went will obviously look back, and I'm sure years to come, and think it was obviously an amazing experience.
Awesome.
Tom, so much of history associated with Australia-New Zealand games, especially at World Cups, so many classic games. Your thoughts ahead of this game, special occasion to meet Australia every time at a World Cup?
Yeah, I think any time we play Australia, it's obviously the Trans-Tasman rivalry, which is really special, and I think that's not just cricket; it's obviously fit for all sports. So, and even in a World Cup, and over here in India, obviously a long way from home, it's another special occasion. So I'm sure both teams will be really excited to get into things, and we played them last year, but we haven't played them for a while, since then. So. Yeah, again, making sure we plan and prepare as best we can, and if we do that, then hopefully we'll give ourselves a good chance at back end of the game.
Yeah. Hi, Tom. So a couple of the fans who visited the previous game from Wellington, so we spoke to them, and they were kind of like, even though Australia haven't started off well, they can see them coming behind their back, and now, both the teams find themselves just a position away from each other. How do you see, this team sort of coming back into the tournament? Australia, of course, they're coming on the back of a big win in Delhi.
Yeah, they're obviously playing some fantastic cricket at the moment. As you said, they didn't probably start as well as they would have liked, but I think the form they've shown in probably the last 3 games is, that's obviously the Australia that we know. They obviously fight, till the end pretty much every time, and I guess every time we play each other, it's always a challenge, and I guess they're a quality side. They're one of the best sides in the world for a reason, and you certainly can't take them lightly. So I think we've shown throughout this tournament that we've seen plenty of teams that on their given day can beat anyone. So and Australia are no different. So we're expecting them to be at their best, and hopefully we can play well as well, and hopefully be a great game.
So continuing to this, that Australia already gained momentum of victory last time. So you have already experienced this ground, and it is very new for Australia. Do you have any change in strategy?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, it's a day game, so that obviously, whether that changes things or not from a conditions point of view, that's probably the only difference. But I think playing here obviously gives you a little bit of an advantage. Obviously, understanding conditions a little bit more and what the surface potentially may be like. It's obviously hard to know what that will be until you get into the game. So for us, as I've said, being prepared and trying to adapt as best you can is is sort of what we've been about this tournament, and I feel like we've done that reasonably well, pretty quickly, as being able to adapt to each surface. So again, tomorrow's another opportunity for us to try stand up and do that as quick as we can, and if we can do that, well, quickly enough, then hopefully that will put us on the front foot.
Just wanted to ask you about Mitch Santner. For those who don't watch New Zealand that much, they kind of might have been surprised by how well he's gone at this World Cup. I mean, have you guys been surprised by how effective he is, and kind of given Australia have struggled a bit against Latham spin at different points? How important is he tomorrow?
Yeah, we certainly haven't been surprised at all. We've seen the work that he's put in, day out, and I think the performances that he's had in the one-day game, but also in the T20 game, he's had many experiences over here in the IPL for a few years now. So we understand, I guess, what he brings, and obviously conditions back home obviously don't suit spin as much, and I guess seeing him come here and apply his skill and do what he's pretty much done for us for a long period of time, and I guess it's nice for him to get a few rewards for, I guess, the hard work that he's put in. So he's obviously been a valued member of the side for a long time, and I guess he's able to bowl in every situation, whether that be at the top in the first 10, through the middle, and obviously at the back end. So he's very adaptable for us, which is great, and I guess someone that can spin the ball on pretty much any surface is really, I guess, vital. And when it is turning, he can obviously get plenty of turn, which is great. So again, another great opportunity for him tomorrow, and hopefully he can stand up again.
Hey Tom, other than Kane, is everyone available for selection tomorrow, and are you expecting to make any changes?
Obviously Kane's still a work in progress with his thumb, but we'll obviously have a quick look at the surface today at training at some point, and then obviously make a decision on what the 11 looks like.
Hey Tom, just in a long tournament like this, when you're playing every team once, do you kind of keep one eye on what, say, in Australia or the bigger teams are doing? Or do you just get to it, when maybe you would have just started your analysis and all of that just 3 days in? Because I'm guessing it's also not possible to watch everything that happens.
Yeah, I think you obviously, well, for me, I watch certainly every game. It's on the TV. But yeah, I think you obviously see the games that are going on, and you see some of the performances that have been put on the park, and I think for us, we've just been trying to take each game at a time. It's probably been our biggest thing. Every game's worth 2 points, so every game's just as important as the next. And once we do come up against a team, we obviously go through our same, preparation that we usually do in terms of scouting and understanding how teams are going and what they're going to bring, to the table. So again, Australia's been no different. We've seen them obviously perform well in the last couple of games, so just understanding how they're going to operate, and hopefully we can counteract that as best we can.
And just about your own batting position, Tom, you batted at 4-5 for quite a few years in one-day cricket, but has it changed in the last 18 months, with the field changes, and you see different kinds of batters being used, like disruptors? Even Australia brought in Josh Inglis for Alex Carey. So has that changed your role much at all, or even how you go about it?
I don't think so, not from a middle order point of view. I think batting in the middle order, for me it's about trying to be adaptable as much as you can. You could be in at 30 for 3, or you could be in at 200 for 3, so you kind of got to adapt the way that you play, as best you can, and I guess that's something about the middle order. You just don't know what situation you're going to be in, so I guess trying to plan for all situations, and just trying to read the way you need to play in that situation, whether you're batting with someone that's, I guess, a set batter, or whether there's 2 new guys. So it's just trying to gauge that as best you can, and understand your blueprint as a team, how you guys want to operate. So we've obviously seen throughout this tournament, guys in the middle order have been obviously getting on with it, but I think that's sort of the situation that they've been in's allowed them to do that. So I guess just, as I said, just trying to be adaptable as best you can is probably the most important thing for me.
New Zealand always playing with novel way, and they have, I think, more patience. While they have pressure, they are playing very well. But this Australia is also a strong team, and they are playing with the aggression. What is your strategy about next match?
Obviously every team, poses different threats, throughout throughout a one-day game. Obviously, some teams come slightly harder, some teams play it slightly differently. So for us, it's just about reading what's in front of us and trying to play that accordingly. On the other hand, we have the way that we want to operate as best we can towards our plan of over a game, whether that be with a bat or ball. So trying to be clear on how we want to operate has been the biggest thing for us this tournament, and if we're able to do that, then hopefully that will give ourselves a good chance, I guess, at the back end of the game. If we look back to our last game, we did a lot of things right. Obviously we didn't quite come out on the right side, but we took a lot of positives from that game. So if we're able to perform in the same way, then I'm sure we'll give ourselves a good chance being in those situations.
Tom, since you said that you watch every game, I'm going to ask you one last question.
I wouldn't say every ball, but
Are you surprised at the way this tournament's gone? I mean, you and India are the only two teams who've maintained kind of the same level at which you're playing. The other teams have had good days, have had bad days. Does that surprise you at all, at the difference in the win and loss margins kind of situation in this tournament?
I guess it just shows that anyone can beat anyone on their day. You got to turn up on that specific day and put out a good performance. We've obviously seen a few upsets throughout this tournament, and I guess that just shows you can't take anything for granted. I just said earlier that every game's worth 2 points, so every game's just as important as the next. So I think just making sure you're able to prepare and plan as best you can, for every game is vitally important. So whether that be at the start of the tournament, in the middle, at the back end, for us it doesn't change. We're taking every game, just like every game. So I guess it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks to see how things pan out.